Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're back. It's Wednesday, and of course, it's not Boob Tube without my wonderful co-hosts Casey Carter and Desiree Desirable Bottom. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hey.
It's been an interesting few weeks.
Yes, man. Yes. Oh my God. First of all, big shout out to Jason. Jason, thank you, Jason, for being here. Thank you, Jason, for checking to see if we're going to be here. Because I think I posted something last week and Jason was like, hey, you doing the show? You doing the show?
But here's the funny thing: Jason is now on Instagram. So
Yes,
now we get
that's where I got the message.
double notification. So Jason's on Twitter and Jason is also on Instagram. So Jason,
That's
if you want
where
to put your Insta in the chat, let everybody follow
let everybody know
you.
so they can follow you. But that's what had me dying is because I had posted something on Instagram and he commented on the post and then he followed up with, are you doing the show? Are you doing? And I was like, no, Jason. But
No,
thank
we
you
took
for asking.
a week
Thank you
off.
for asking. I so appreciate that.
So just
So
a little heads up.
Can I
Go ahead,
mention?
Desiree. Yeah.
Okay. Can I mention something real quick? Okay, so YouTube's got top fans now. So I don't know if you guys seen that, but whenever you chat, the people who like chat the most or most interactive now, there's like a leaderboard for it, which is really dope.
Ooh,
Amazing.
I love
Yes.
that. I
Well,
love.
So you guys
if
can
we
see it if you guys
got the
click
first
top
fan,
fan. Yep,
the
Jason
first
is
fan in
number
the room.
one. Jason's number
Yes.
one.
So where do
I'm
you
number
see this?
2, and Kari's number 3. So on the YouTube chat, you just click at the top where it says the XP, like it'll say 50 XP or whatever. Just click the purple XP, and it'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to give you guys like a little bit of context, usually the week before Exotica and the week after, and the week before, the week after, and sometimes the week after the week after.
Sometimes.
We take
True.
some time off because Casey and I, and one day hopefully Desiree will join
Travel.
us, but we go to the
Travel.
Exotica shows and it is extremely exhausting. In fact, we were just talking about this before we went live about some of the things that we experienced at the Miami show, and to give you a little bit of information, like Exotica is a high energy show. And
It
because
is.
we are expected to be on, it's extra exhausting because it's not like we're there and we're sipping on drinks and we're eating and doing like girl time stuff. We are there, we're
Mixing
on,
and mingling. Mixing and mingling.
mixing, mingling, talking to you all, the fans and the people that are patronizing the show. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes people have questions and it's a lot. It's
It's a lot.
very energetically exhausting. And
Yeah.
so when we get home, we have to do several things. And one of them is cleanse.
Yes, yes, yes.
Also reconnect to our regular lives because our lives are not Exotica every week, every day.
No, and
So
and let me say this. Casey has a day job, so Casey's crazy behind goes to her day job the very next day after she gets back. Casey is not smart enough to take a day off just to start that full decompression.
yes,
No, she doesn't do that. She goes right to work the next day.
I
And
do too.
but at least you have the luxury of you are your office. You
Yes.
right? So, and granted, dealing with clients can be a thing, but in my situation, I've got people who walk in the building. So, going back to what you said about dealing with energy, I switch from Exotica energy to this other energy, and I don't give myself a chance to replenish or to put a buffer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And
go ahead.
Okay.
no, I was gonna say also like there's a huge difference. Like you have to really shift gears from being like in hypersexual you can cuss and be
Yes.
yourself, or
Yes.
that persona, and then you
I
go
gotta turn
back
it
into
all the way down.
right, you gotta transition into that customer service,
Uh-huh.
polite, you know,
It's a thing. Y'all,
yeah.
you guys have no idea. For me, it is a thing. It is literally so okay. I'm glad you said that, Kari, because I don't think about it because I've gotten used to doing it because I've done it for so long now. But it is truly, truly a thing to for those 4 5 days that I am 100% in Casey Carter mode. I like she
Mhm.
says, you go from being hypersexual and not and don't misunderstand hypersexual in a sense that you get to have conversation with people about stuff you don't typically spend all day talking about. We're not necessarily talking about blowjobs and sexual positions and things like that, but you're in an environment where that's where people's state of mind is. So that energy is given off, and we're all feeding off of each other because we are all somewhat the same, right? Like I'm not a cam star, but I'm sitting next to a cam star and we're talking. And even if we're just talking about how we're doing, how was your trip? How was the flight? How's your dog? Like even if we're talking about mundane things, that energy is still bubbling at the surface. So, whoo,
The
then
way
I
that I
come
just oh,
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say, and then I come home and I have to be, so how can I help you? What? You have a fine? You want to dispute the violation? Okay.
Let me see what I can do for you. Meanwhile, so the way that I describe Exotica is it's kind of like if you go to a circus and they have that like row of strange things, like the bearded lady
Oh,
and
yep,
the
yep, yep.
the all those things, right? So imagine you have 50,000 people that come into the building and they come to your booth and they're like, "So what trick do you do?"
Mm-hmm. Because
Because they
over
have no idea
there,
who you are.
right
Yeah,
there,
over
oh,
there,
over
she's
there,
sucking on her own toes.
right, right, right. So what can you
This
do?
this girl just did the splits on a dildo. What do you do? And you're just like,
I don't do
"Oh
that.
shit, I came, I
I don't
arrived,
do that.
I showed up."
And
So,
it's funny, Carrie, that you say that too, because when I can see the loyal fans booth from my booth and I know everything that everybody's doing or what they do or who they are, and people walk by and they, and it's funny because they look at you, they look at your sign, they look at you, they look back at your sign, and you can see them trying to assess who you are and what you do. And I've had many, many people not believe me when I say I don't do porn, I don't cam. And they just give me a side eye like, you got to do one of those. Why are you
what the
here?
hell are you doing here? Right.
Right.
This is why I was so glad when they stopped putting the boob tube behind my booth, because people would always ask me to see my boobs because they thought that's what boob tube was. And I would be so frustrated because I'm like, "No, it's a
Yo,
show."
That's
And they're like, "What do you
funny.
talk about on boob tube? Boobs?" And I'm like, "No,
That's
we talk
funny.
about we talk about what's happening on TV and streaming services
TV.
and movies and entertainment."
Eh,
They're like, "At a
huh?
porn show?" Like,
No, no. But you know what? I love to see their face get dry when I tell them that, yeah, I'm one of the co-hosts of Exotica TV's only live still running program. They're like, oh, okay, what's it called? BoobTube. And then they get kind of like, and I'm like, yeah, we talk about, like you said, TV, movies, streaming. And they're like,
right.
oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
funny. So we're just explaining this to you guys so you kinda understand, like, when we take
When we
some
don't
time
show
off,
up. Yeah.
it's not
That's
because we don't love you, it's not because we don't wanna be here, it's just that
we can't
we wanna
drag
be
ourselves
here.
out the bed.
Right, well, and not only that, but we wanna show up for you 100%. Like, you guys show up for us 100%, we wanna show
Wanna
up for
show up for
you.
you.
So that is why we
Facts.
take some time off and just kinda giving you an idea of what it's like behind the scenes, because it's
Yeah.
you guys only see what happens when we get on camera. You don't see even if you see what's happening on our social media, we're not showing you the
The
hours it
real,
takes to set up our booth. Although I'm gonna start doing that just so
the
you
real,
guys can
real.
get a real glimpse of what it's like.
Yeah.
You don't see standing up for 2 hours and needing to plop your butt on a chair because you're like, you don't see walking around the
The show floor.
show floor, and
Ooh.
then you get down the second aisle and you're like, damn, I need to go sit.
Uh-huh. And
Right?
no,
Because it's
wait.
concrete
Here's what's
floors.
funny, Carrie. When you said it's not like we're having drinks and socializing, and I'm thinking, yo, dude, I spent a lot of time in VIP this last show. But oddly enough, I also spent a lot of time talking to people while I was in VIP this time. Because you know, this Miami's VIP, I like it. I like it and I don't like it. I don't like it because most of the time VIP is where you can see the stage. Miami's VIP is set off from
By
the
the
show.
dungeon.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Well,
much more private.
right. And it's wider, you know, the space is bigger and all of that. So there's a lot more room to sort of sit around and socialize or whatever. But I like it better when you can see the show because you get people who will wander in and out and around and whatever. But I find it interesting in the VIP, the people that you meet, the talent, the regular attendees. Like when they do Miami, Miami sets up a lot of stripper poles for the hotties to dance on. So in Miami on Sunday, I was in there and one of the hottie that was on the pole at that moment, she had on these Jordans that were blinged out. The swoosh was blinged out, and so I asked her how, you know, how much did you pay for them, and they were just the swoosh, blinged out in Swarovski crystals. I think she said
Wow.
$500. I was
But
like,
why
beg
is
pardon?
this important to Casey? Because
Oh,
Casey is the bling queen, just so y'all
okay,
know.
yeah. So
She's the
they
bling
okay. All right.
queen.
I'm sorry. I didn't give
I'm
you
still
full
waiting on my
context.
bling something. I don't know.
Oh
I
no,
need to get something
and
bling.
listen. So listen, I'm on a mission to provide blinged stuff for people because I don't know if you had a chance to see. I did some sneakers for Mickey Lynn. Um, and it was interesting because Mickey Lynn didn't want a full bling. So one shoe was fully blinged out, the other one had her name on it, just her name on it. But I'm looking to do something for each hottie for Jersey. And so, you know, we need to talk, Carrie, so that you can pick something that you want blinged for Jersey. I've got plenty of time and I got plenty of motivation. So
I can't say on air what my
that's
theme is.
okay. You
New
don't have to.
Jersey, I'll tell you off screen,
Mhm.
but when I tell you guys you want to be in New Jersey, my booth is going to be so fucking dope. I have
Okay.
such a big plan and I'm so excited because I can't talk anymore about it because I'm gonna
Don't
give it
say
away.
anything.
But
No.
all
But
I'm
I
saying is y'all need to save up. So you got months to save up. You got a few months. You got the rest of July. You got August, September, October. Get your tickets. Go to the
Mhm.
New Jersey show. A lot of people have big plans for that show. So if you're gonna attend Exotica, New Jersey is
That's
definitely
the
the one.
one. That's the one.
That's the one. So we just wanted to share a little bit about, our experience at Exotica. Miami is a very different show because the people that go there are different. I don't want to say like good or bad. They're
No,
just
just
different.
different. Yeah,
Just
each
different.
location has an energy, and Miami's energy is interesting.
Different. Yeah, it's interesting
You
for
want to know
sure.
how interesting Miami's energy is, y'all? One of the things we were talking about before we went live, we had psychics at the show. That's how interesting Miami is.
Well, they had them at New Jersey.
I've never seen them.
They had, or maybe it was the 420 Expo, but there was, I want to say it was New Jersey, and wasn't last year, it was the year before that, but they were not this aggressive. These psychics at the Miami show were aggressive in their sales tactics.
They
And
were aggressive to the extent that they were literally putting their hand on people to stop them to talk to them. That's the level of aggressive, which if you know, and so Kari and I had talked about this briefly, but we both had a conversation with our friend Ella about this, and we didn't get a chance to get this far, Kari, but Ella was beside herself because the one psychic near your booth kept touching Ella, and she was on like 2 seconds off of ripping this chick a new one for touching her, because she's like, oh no, you are not, as you were saying earlier, you're not tapping into my energy like that. Don't touch me. Don't touch
Right.
me.
They did it to me too. That's how well, it started with, I was like, "Hey, I didn't really get to see you that much." And that's kind of what happened at XBiz, and she was like, the psychics on your row that were right across from you, she was like, they were just too much.
Look, yeah,
And she's like, I felt like they were always staring at me, and it was just, and I was like, try being across from them. They
yeah,
kept coming over there and like trying to grab my hand, and I was like, stop touching me. I did not give you permission to touch me. Do not touch me. And for those of you that don't understand why a psychic or someone that's in that like witchcrafty, you know, I don't want to say dark magic or white magic, but like in that
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 field, I guess.
field,
hmm
when someone when someone touches you, there is an energetic exchange,
hmm
whether it's somebody that's a witch or not a witch, or if they believe or don't believe, it doesn't matter. Like, if when people touch you, that's why humans crave touch, positive touch. They want to be caressed and held and kissed and hugged and all those things. It's like why you hug your children and you give your children affection, because it makes them feel safe, it makes them feel loved. So when someone touches you that you don't know, then yeah, Exotica is definitely Disneyland for adults. When someone touches you that you don't know, it's very off-putting.
right,
And when you're talking about someone that's in a field where they want to read your energy, they want to read your palm, they want to look into your life, that can be a very unsafe place to be if you haven't consented to it. And
right,
even if you have
True.
consented, like, this is something that you should do when you are 100% aware of what you're doing and what you're allowing. You're accepting that this person, and not all psychics are real. So, I'm not out here saying that everybody that touches your palm that says they're going to read your palm is telling you the truth. A lot of them are phony and fake, but there are some out there that know how to tap into your energy. And a lot of them have dark intentions. And so that darkness could very well be transferred to you. And, if you don't believe in this kind of stuff, that's fine. I'm just sharing with you why it was very impactful to us, at least myself.
Yeah.
hmm
And they just
Yeah.
kept touching me, like wanting to read my palm and saying that I had this like dark future. And I'm like, I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm doing the best I've ever done. What the fuck are you talking about?
yeah, and it
So, no, ma'am, I don't
Mm.
subscribe.
and it was also interesting too, because there were two. There was one near Carrie, and that's the one, the aggressive one that she's talking about, and there was one near me who was a little bit more low key, but still, like, that was the one Ella and I encountered first, and they still kind of sort of gave us the whole heebie-jeebie, like, eh. And so we stopped walking past their booth like that. So,
Yeah,
but
and that's
and
what
the
Ella said. She was like,
yeah,
"It wasn't that I was trying to avoid you, it was
it
just
was,
I didn't wanna walk
especially
down your
because
thing."
the one near you, Carrie, was near the entrance to the VIP, to the dungeon,
Yep.
and all of that. And it was every time we walked in that way, this one particular person kept trying to reach for Ella. Like, Ella was going to the bathroom, and they honed in on her. So very off-putting,
It's
very
insane.
off-putting.
Yeah,
But
that's
that
insane.
aside, that aside, you need, if you haven't been to Exotica, you need to go to Exotica. You need, and I don't, at this point, I don't care which location you go to, because each location has a different kind of energy. You're going to
It
have a
does.
different experience, because even for us, Carrie and I going to all four locations, we have different experiences at each of the locations, because the location itself has its own energy. And you kind of tune in to whatever that is, and kind of make it work for you. But if you're gonna go, Jersey's the one. Jersey is definitely the one. And my second favorite is Chicago.
Yeah. I don't
Def-
know. I like Chicago, but I kind of like DC because it's still new there, you know? So you still get people that are like, whoa,
my
what's
only
happening?
my only thing with DC, because I agree, it's still because it's still relatively new in that area. You do get that sort of this is new, but when you look at it from when we first went, I think some of that newness has sort of dwindled a
Worn
bit.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
I do love is like Lorenzo and I don't stay in the host hotel. We stay in a hotel, I think it's one exit down. And so that particular hotel has a lot of tradespeople that stay there because they're in the area doing something somewhere. And
Mhm.
when they see us, because a lot of Exotica people do stay at that hotel, when they see us and we're in our Exotica gear or we're in whatever our merch is, they'll be like, so where are you at? When is it? How long is it? Because I've been there where film crews have been in town and they're like, oh, where's the show? Oh, okay, we're going. We're going. So I love that about DC. People see you in the area who aren't even necessarily in from the area, but they're in town and they're looking for shit to do. And this is something they're like, ooh, I'm never where this is going on. So yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming.
I'm coming. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. So yeah, put that on your bucket list, y'all.
Okay.
Put
Oh,
it on
on
your
my wait,
bucket
Carrie.
list.
Since you just said bucket list, so here's something that I did, and this is thanks to Exotica. So last year at Exotica, there was this photography studio that was at the show. And they had these absolutely spectacular photos. They were absolutely beautiful, very stunning, very striking. And they were selling some part of their package, they were selling at a discount. So I bought that discount, whatever that was, and was like, yeah, as long as I can come back when I come back, I'm not from Miami, but if I can come back when I come back for for Exotica, I'd love to do this. And they guaranteed me that my coupon, my discount or whatever would be good for the year if I came back. So I came back early enough so that I could schedule this photography shoot, this photo shoot. Now, here's what's crazy. I didn't schedule it until June, like literally 2 weeks before the show. And I also didn't know until 2 weeks before the show that it was nude photography. How did I not know? I don't know. I don't know. I guess I didn't really look that hard until I went to book it. And so I said to myself, you know what? Here is something you don't do. You're never seen nude because as I mentioned earlier, I don't cam, I don't do porn. So you don't see Casey nude. So I was very excited about this photo shoot. And it is very the experience is very liberating. The studio was absolutely spectacular. You can, they do hair and makeup. I was drinking champagne the whole time I was there. My glass was never fucking empty. That glass stayed full the whole time. I was there for like 3.5 hours because they give you time to do your makeup. There's time to do your photo shoot. You then wait for them to show you your shots so that you can pick the shots you want, so that you can pick whatever little package you want. And the name of the studio is called Nouveau Photography. I think it's Nouveau Photography. And I'm not even probably pronouncing it right, but it's Nuovo Photography. It is in the art district. Really, really super cool. The women, it's all women in the studio. They were absolutely fantastic. Their goal is to make you feel sexy. And so
That's dope.
the particular studio I chose, because you get to choose either a colored background or a white background, I think, or a black background. I chose the black studio. So today I got my digital prints, my digital pictures rather. It's 150 of them, and when I went back to look at some of them, I haven't even had a chance to look at all of them, but when I went back to look at them, I'm going to say this. I am so glad that I chose to do this photo shoot. I'm so
Oh.
glad to the extent that I'm going to share these photos with all of you because they are absolutely spectacular. Not because I'm spectacular, because I am, not gonna lie, but 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 because they are absolutely beautiful in terms of being artistic, and I'm very, very proud of them, and I'm proud of the work I did with these ladies. So I'm going to, when come Jersey, these will be available for purchase. Cause yeah, and if you're lucky, you might even see Boob.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
You
Go
might even
ahead.
see
Show,
some
show
Boob.
us a little
So
schmitty.
yeah, okay, all right. So I said what I needed to say. All right, we can do the show now.
30 minutes. Yeah, we can start the show now. Thank
It's
you guys
only
so much for joining.
9:28.
It's only been
Right?
30 minutes
Right?
of our tangent. So, to get back into talking about TV and stuff, I mentioned a few weeks ago that I started Animal Kingdom. And a couple of days ago, I finished Animal Kingdom. And when I tell you I watched this show, it's 6 seasons. I watched this show so much. I could not wait to watch every episode. There was
It
a
was
couple of times where it got a little, it was like,
everybody.
eh.
I think all of these good shows have dry moments. I think they all do.
True.
They all, I mean, you can, like, they can't be great all the time. I get it. But for the majority of the entire show, each episode, each season, it is really, really good. It is
Mm.
really, really
It
good. I
really is.
enjoyed it
Yeah.
thoroughly. It definitely gave me like Dexter vibes, where you just enjoy watching it and you get excited for the next episode.
Yep.
So, and I binged as much as I could. And like, obviously, there's 10 episodes per season. That's 60 episodes. I couldn't just sit and watch it straight because,
Mm.
shit had to get done. And I traveled.
She's like,
So
I had to do things. I had to live life, and
I
you
didn't
know.
want to, though. I would literally be working, chit chatting, are you nice and hard right now? And then thinking like, damn, I wonder if I could take a
She
break and
said,
go watch
she
Animal
said, "Are
Kingdom.
you hard
I'm like, dude, can I do this from my phone? Okay, yeah, let me go to my phone and I'm watching Animal Kingdom. Meanwhile, like mid sentence, I'm like, what?
now?"
What? Oh my God. Hold on. Put the phone down. 10 minutes later, I go back and I'm like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. And then so I got my partner into it, right? And then he gets mad because he comes home and he's like, "You watched 3 episodes without
Without
me." And I'm
me.
like,
Sorry,
I
Oh,
boo.
couldn't help it.
Sorry,
It's
boo.
addictive.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that don't know, animal and we're going to touch on this a little bit with we were talking about this before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't know what Animal Kingdom is a show that started in 2022, I believe, and it starred Ellen Barkin, who was the matriarch of the family, and she has 3 sons and has a daughter. And the oldest son, which is Andrew, aka Pope,
Mm.
and Julia, the very first episode, Julia dies. She overdoses. She's, strung out on drugs. And Josh, or Jay, is the son who was there while
Just
she
chilling.
overdosed.
Just chilling
Just
on the
chilling. Like
sofa.
he and they talk about it more as you watch the show about his experience and why he was just kind of numb to the situation. But that's how the seat, like the show literally starts with you're seeing him on the couch with his mother who's passed away, and the EMTs come in and they're like, asking him questions, and he's just like, yeah, she OD'd. And then he calls up Smurf, which is Ellen Barkin, the matriarch, and he's like, mom, mom finally died and I don't have nowhere to go. And she's like, She
Come on.
comes right over, picks him up, and the
I'm
show
home.
begins. And she introduces him, not introduces him, but like reacquaints him with his uncles because clearly there had been quite some time that had passed. They hadn't seen him since he was a small child. Now he's a high school student, like getting ready to graduate. So he's on the verge of becoming an adult. And so he gets into this environment. They are criminals,
Hmm.
very, very creative, innovative, and smart criminals.
Including
And
mom. Including
including,
mom.
well, mom is the
She the head.
definite, yeah, she's the head of the for a reason, for a reason. But now Jay is involved and they don't trust him, he doesn't trust them. And then as the show continues, you find out so much. And it's like head spinning, like the
Yeah.
whole dynamic and, just finding out like what Jay's motives are and like, whoo, it gets deep. So yeah, I finished it, but we were talking about before we went live. I went on a deep dive to find out why Ellen Barkin left the show because at some point Smurf dies. We're just gonna leave it at that. Um, and how she dies makes a whole lot of sense towards the end. We figure out
Mm.
why it happened. But Ellen Barkin leaves the show and they at this point they've already introduced the younger version, like they're giving you the backstory of like how she got into being a criminal and how she met her baby daddies and how the kids were conceived and blah blah blah, right? They start giving you backstory. And so I did a deep dive because I'm like, why did Ellen Barkin leave the show? Come to find out, it really wasn't a role that she enjoyed doing. And there was several reasons why. One, she said that they treated her terribly, which, you know, eh, but more importantly, she had trouble with some of the subject matter that took place because one thing that I did not tell you about this show is that Smurf has a very inappropriate relationship with her sons. Very inappropriate, which they imply but never like say whether or not there was physical like
Inappropriateness. So
Mm-hmm.
going back to that first episode where Jay's on the couch with his mom who was dead, and his first like social interaction with Smurf and the uncles. Um, yeah, I think that breakfast thing was like one of the first. So Jay comes out for breakfast because Smurf is all about the meals. Smurf is all about
the
meals
family.
with her
Yeah.
family, with the
Mm-hmm.
boys. And so this is breakfast, and he's out, in the kitchen area, and she's busy. I don't know if she was juicing, if she was cooking, cutting, whatever. She was prepping breakfast. One of the brothers comes out from his bedroom where he was in the bed with two or three women. He comes out into the kitchen butt ass naked, right? And so before he comes out, you see Smurf in a robe and her bra, and the robe is off one shoulder. So this whole, the whole boob bra situation is out. And then when the son comes out naked from having these two women in the bed, two, three women in the bed with him, you say to yourself, oh, he's butt ass naked. She's in the robe with the bra out, and it's all family, right? So you're like, nobody else finds this weird. It's just me.
Right.
Right.
And it's like that throughout the whole series. There's always like the way she loves on her boys always feels a tad icky. I don't know how else to say it. It always feels icky. Like I have a son, and I do hug my son and I will kiss my son, but the what Ellen Barkin's character was doing with them just felt gross. It
Yeah.
really felt gross.
Yeah. So from the deep dive, it appears that the subject matter and just some of the things that the role required on top of the other things that were mentioned, she decided to leave the show. And I mean, I can understand how that might be. I mean, it's like I was reading something about Billy Bob Thornton when he did the role with was it Monsters Ball or
Monsters
Monster
Ball with
something?
Holly Berry.
Yeah, and there was, some things that he said that, weren't it, they talk about it's much like we were talking about being an Exotica. While yes, we are to some degree in the industry, whether we're full blown performers, cam stars, or whatever, like with Casey, like there's still a degree of, I don't want to say like protected privacy, but
Right.
just because I'm at Exotica doesn't mean that I want to have a full blown conversation about would I ever do double anal. Like,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I get that when people go, like, as people are patronizing the show, they're under the assumption that we're there, like, open books,
Right.
ask us anything.
Right.
And, those kind of questions still can be uncomfortable. And so I can
Mhm.
understand how an actor who, yes, they took the role, they read the script,
They knew
they
what it was
thought,
going to be.
oh, this is not that big of a deal. But internally there's certain things, especially with the world that we're looking at right now in our country and the state that it's in. It's got to make you feel some kind of way when you're like, I said these things, and even though it was done in a manner of professional acting and it
Hmm.
was done for the creative art, at
Hmm.
the end of the day,
I
it's
still,
why, like, as a performer, there's certain things that I do not participate in, and the
right.
family stuff is one of them. The use of race play is another
Yeah.
one. I've mentioned it multiple times. I
Exactly.
will not, in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't care if you take the N word out of it. I'm not doing it.
It's
Period.
right. It's still uncomfortable. Right.
It's not
Fact.
something that I do at any point in my life. It
Mm.
doesn't make me feel good, and there's no amount of money
That you
that's
can,
gonna
yep,
buy me, a peace
to
of
do that.
mind. When I get
Hmm.
done doing it, I'm gonna feel like shit. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
so it's just like, yeah, boundaries. And so I can understand how Ellen
Exactly.
Barkin felt being in this situation where, I don't know if she has kids or if she has boys, or if just knowing that a mother feeling this way or doing these things with her son, like, it's got to be ick, like you said. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
Animal Kingdom,
Good to watch though.
it is
It's
very good to watch. I
especially
loved.
because I think there's a lot to talk about. I know we just talked about that one particular thing right there, but a lot of the activity that goes on, there are things that you will find yourself analyzing and processing, and we're talking little things, very very little things, because the uncles, as Kari said, they don't trust the nephew, but they pull the nephew as close to them as they can, and they very subtly make the nephew, they indoctrinate the nephew in what they do. And the nephew, you can tell, is sort of at odds, where he does what they say because they're the uncles and they're older, and at the same time you see him trying to figure out, just how long am I going to have to do what they say, because I don't really want to do what they say. I want to, I'm digging this lifestyle, but I don't want to do it for them. I want to do it for me. And so it's interesting because you see the power dynamics. There is constant power dynamics between the brothers, between the sons and the mother, between the uncles and the nephew. Constant power dynamics. And that power shifts as things go on. Because, like, for example, Carrie mentioned the older brother, Pope. When the show first starts, there's a real happy go lucky vibe, Smurf and the boys, and we're having a good time, and da 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 da. And then you hear that Pope is around, and you see Ellen Barkin sort of retreat within herself and seem scared and afraid of this older son. And the older son, Pope, is a straight up weirdo. And you see that he's a straight up weirdo, and he is consistently straight up weirdo. And you're like, you're never really sure if he even likes his family, even
Till
though
the
Mhm.
the
end. Till the end.
right, even though he makes sure to stay close to them, he does a lot of shit that makes you go, okay, why would you do that to them? Or why would you, whatever? So it's weird because in one moment, he'll seem super loving and kind and whatever. And in another moment, he's this weird, strange, set off, whatever. So it is definitely, 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 definitely worth watching. Absolutely worth watching.
But trigger warning. The
Yeah,
weirdo stuff. Yeah.
weirdo stuff. So,
It made Ghost very my partner very uncomfortable. He was like, "What?
Comfortable.
What is she doing?" Yeah. So,
um, yeah. So anyway, okay.
moving
So
along, moving along.
I
Go ahead,
watched
Casey.
I watched something on Prime called We Were Liars. We Were Liars. I want to say it's definitely something that was one of those young adult books. I don't, from a literature standpoint, I don't do young adult. I don't really like young adult.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not my cup of tea. But I was looking, I am famous for watching something that I don't have to pay 100% attention to.
Same.
Right. So this just happened to be that thing in the moment. And no lie, this reminds me of Just the Tip. I tell myself I'm going to watch it because I don't have to pay attention. And then I find myself sitting in front of the TV full on watching it. So this is that. And I think it's 8 episodes, 10 episodes, I don't know, whatever. But it's about a privileged white family who spends the summers at out in Martha's Vineyard, and they don't even stay in Martha's Vineyard proper. They stay in some other location just off of Martha's Vineyard. And if you've ever been to Martha's Vineyard, and if you're one of those who used to go regularly to Martha's Vineyard, you already know to visit or to go regularly means you are at a certain whatever.
Cheer.
To own a home on Martha's Vineyard, you're even higher than that. So I had the privilege of going to Martha's Vineyard for a week with my family. It is an experience for sure, for sure, for sure. But anyway, um, so this family, very, very wealthy family, is 3 daughters and their kids and their husbands and whatever train wreck of a life that they live. And the family has these rules. They have these traditions. They do family photo where everybody's wearing a particular color. They have these egg hunts that, I don't know, was weird. Very, very, and what I'm about to say, I'm going to say because we're friends and we're family, and I don't give a fuck because I'm going to say what I'm about to say. But if you're bothered by what I'm about to say, I'm really sorry you're bothered by what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Very privileged white people is what this is, right? This is old money type situation. And when you listen to the family talk, the matriarch and the patriarch, when you listen to them talk, they talk from that perspective of we can do whatever the fuck we want to do because we created all of this. If it wasn't for us, there'd be none of this. So like that's the vibe and the energy. And the daughters do whatever they can to stay in their parents' good graces so that they can get the financial benefits of
True.
being in their
Yeah.
parents' good graces. And then as for the
Yeah.
grandkids, there's one set of grandkids, which are the teens, and they're called the liars. And then there's another set of grandkids, which are younger than the teens, and they're called the littles.
Oh
And
wow.
the littles, right. And so the liars
The
have
littles and the
the
liars. I
littles
love
and the
it.
liars.
Yeah.
And the liars have a friend who's called Gat. Gat is of Indian descent. And they met Gat as a result of of his uncle dating one of the sisters, and they met Gat back when they were young, and so they had known Gat for years and years and years, and he, from a friend basis, they saw him more like family than friend because
Family friend. Okay.
right. So, because he would be
Got you.
there every year for their summer experience or whatever. So, this particular year that they call Summer 16, they refer to the year based on how old they are at the time that they're having their summer experience. So it wouldn't be like summer 2020, 2022 or whatever. It's summer 16 when they're all 16 or whatever.
Okay.
So in this one particular year, um, there's like they're having this revelation where Gat is coming into his like social uh things, how things are really with the family, and the dad and the patriarch, and the fact that the patriarch really just tolerates him and his uncle being there, and how the girls, the daughters are clearly living a shitty life and will do whatever they can to stay in the good graces. And so all of this starts to come out, and the liars have this moment where they decide, you know what? Let's just burn it all to the ground. Let's just get
Ooh.
rid of everything that causes the
Wow.
family to behave the way they do. So they
Mm.
literally set the family's house on fire.
What?
Liter-
Woo!
literally, literally set the house on fire. And we're talking
Burn, baby,
big
burn.
old, big old mansion.
Mm.
They set it on fire. They had this plan. We're going to set it on fire. We're going to do la 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 la. Okay, so then, well, before that, you discover that one of the girls, the oldest grandchild, she's found on the shore at the beach, barely dressed and unconscious, and having had some sort of traumatic experience where she lost her memory. And so the next summer, she shows up at the house, and she's mad because her cousins didn't come see her, Gat didn't come see her, nobody came to see her in the
Mm.
hospital. They didn't call her, nothing. And they keep telling her, oh, it's because we were told you had to have the experiences to relive your memories yourself, whatever, right? So she's
Okay.
mad. They're very apologetic. They she when she has these flashes of memory, it also triggers, like, you can almost say like epileptic type situations where she will have what seems like a seizure, and they can't continue in that space, right? So I'm watching this, and there comes a moment where I go, oh shit, I didn't see this coming. I didn't see it coming. Did not. I was not. And I hate to do a spoiler alert, because I was talking to Lorenzo about it. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you, but I'm gonna do a spoiler alert. So
Do it.
here's the spoiler alert.
Do it.
La 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 la. No spoiler. No
I'm
spoiler. No, just
spoiling.
kidding.
I don't give a fuck. I'm
Do
spoiling.
it.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm spoiling. I'm spoiling because I want you to come back next week, week after next, or whatever, and say to me, "Oh, here's what I saw, Casey. Here's what I saw." Here's the
Okay.
spoiler alert. Motherfuckers are dead. Her friends, her cousin, they're dead.
No. What?
So the whole summer season that she's having
Lord.
these flashes of memory of what happened, and she's talking to the cousins, and she's talking to Gat, who she grew to have a crush on, and they shared a kiss that summer that they burnt the house down. Dead.
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 Wow.
They're
That's
dead.
mind blowing.
They are dead because they all they got stuck in the house while the house was on fire.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So when she has that aha moment that they're all dead, you think to yourself, okay, movie's over. No,
Mm-mm.
movie's not
Pump the
over.
brakes.
Show's not over. Because then you find out that the grandfather, because one of the things that she makes reference to is the fact that there's a new house. And why the new house? The house is so gaudy, it's ugly, it's whatever. So when the grandfather, she and the grandfather are talking, and the grandfather says to her, I have a gift for you for your birthday, because her 18th birthday was coming up. I got a gift for you. So he hands her this bag, and the bag has these black pearls in them. The black pearls belonged to the grandmother. When they found her washed up on shore, she had the black pearls in her hand. Turns out she didn't leave the house the way she was supposed to, because she went to get the black pearls, because the sisters had been fighting over them, and she thought, I'm going to win because I'm going to get the pearls. Well, because she was busy running around with the pearls, Gat came in and he got caught in the fire. The one of the cousins got caught in the fire because he was busy looking at photos that were in the attic. The other cousin got caught in the fire because she was an artist and found that one of her pieces, one of her paintings that her mother had punched a hole in, the mother took the time to restore that piece of artwork. So she got hung up trying to save this piece of artwork from being burned that her mother was trying to now restore. So they all got killed in the fire. She is saved from the fire. She washes up on shore. She's got the black pearls in her hand. So when the grandfather gives her the black pearls and tells her the family's being interviewed, I want you there. They want to talk to you about being a hero. And he hands her the black pearls. She's like, oh shit, he knows we set the fire. Oh my God. So, yeah. So, long story short, she shows up to the family photo where they're about to do the interview, and they say to her, we want you to talk about the family and blah blah blah. She's like, nope, can't do it, not gonna do it. I'm not saying nothing about any of this because it's all a lie. And then she skips off, like la 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 la. And of course, the grandfather is pissed. Her mother is like, wow, she had the balls to do what I could never do. And it was just, when I tell you, I wasn't ready for that Bruce Willis moment of I see dead people. Like, I wasn't ready for the I see dead people moment. I really wasn't. And then, like I said, I swore up and down I wasn't going to say nothing. And then I'm like, fuck it. I don't care about a spoiler alert. Just don't.
Watch it.
Watch it. Because I want to know, do any of you see this coming? And on what episode do you see it coming? Because I swear to you, the way they did this and I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the name of that movie, that Bruce Willis movie. But in that movie,
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, thank you. The boy makes comments that, when you look at it later, allude to him knowing something was off. In this, the girl does not give you any indication that she's talking to ghosts. She genuinely believes she's talking to the cousin and to the childhood friend. There is no indication that she's not talking to them. Nobody says anything that makes it look like something's wrong until they show you later. They replay scenes where she's with one of the cousins and someone who is alive shows up. And when they replay it, and you see the blank space of where the person would have been and re-see the dialogue, then you go, okay. But still, nobody gives you the impression they know she's talking to ghosts. Not one time did I see it. So I want to know. I want you all to watch it. It's on Prime Video. It's called We Were Liars. I want you to tell me what episode, what scene do you think it's obvious that she's talking to ghosts?
Drop it in the comments.
Drop it in comments. Next week. Sure. Drop it in comments next week. Okay. All right, Des, what you got real quick?
Okay, I'm going for, I seen a show. I got to see it in French. I'm not sure why, but I mean, it's okay because I'm
Canadian
in French. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but it's called.
Wait a minute. Desiree, you speak French?
Yeah, and a little bit of Spanish.
We'll talk about why Des.
French?
Wait, I was gonna say we'll talk about why Des ain't giving us no French this whole time.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Okay, Des, we're gonna make you talk French Vietnamese one whole episode.
You speak Vietnamese too.
Oui.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now going
Okay.
forward, you have to do
Sorry.
a French phrase every week.
Every week. Uh-huh.
I can't believe we've been with her this
Bravo.
long and didn't know she
And
spoke
Bravo.
this is what
Parlez-vous
I'm saying.
français.
That's why I was like, we'll
Okay.
talk about this on another episode.
No,
So,
Parlez-vous français.
Me neither.
parlez-vous français? Oui. Okay.
Okay, go
So
ahead. Your show.
the show is called Distant. So it said it just came out on Hulu/Disney Plus on July 3rd, 2025. So like I said, I got to watch it in French. I don't know if I think on Hulu and Disney Plus it might be in English. This
Okay.
where I watched it though it was in French.
Okay.
With English subtitles or whatever. So it's about this guy and he's in space. Okay, so it's got Anthony Ramos as he's an
Oh,
asteroid
wait a minute.
miner.
What's it called again?
Distant.
Because I think
Yeah.
I saw it on Apple TV.
Okay.
I didn't watch it, but I saw it.
Okay, so watch it. It's really cool.
Okay.
Well, if you like space stuff.
I do.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys the deets. Yeah. So Anthony Ramos and Naomi Scott, they're both in there. There's other people too, and then so he's got this space suit on, and it's called Leonard. And the funny thing, Kari, you say Vietnamese. It said original title. The film launched in Vietnam. No lie.
That's funny. That's funny.
It is.
Go.
A little.
So you can translate it for us.
In multiple languages.
Okay. In multiple
Spanish,
languages.
French, and Vietnamese.
Okay.
Our international language specialist here.
All right, so tell us what it's about. I want to know what it's about because now I'm curious.
Okay, after his asteroid mining ship is struck during a meteor shower and crash lands on a hostile alien planet, wearing an AI-powered survival suit, his oxygen supply is dwindling. Alone, he manages to contact crewmate Naomi, trapped in an escape pod somewhere on the planet. Relying on Naomi's guidance, he sets out across a dangerous terrain, scarce of oxygen. Harsh weather and mysterious alien creatures hunt him down. Oh, hold on a sec. Zachary Quinto's AI voice provides technical help, but also cold warnings, often clashing with Naomi's more human perspective. So along the way, he ends up meeting this other person that was in a pod too, named Dwayne, who helps momentarily and sends a distress beacon, only to be killed by alien predators, raising stakes in isolation. Andy must push forward without backup, guided by Naomi's calm instructions and his AI stark logic, highlighting a tension between human institution and machine reliability. So I really liked it because it had the aliens in it. So if you guys aren't scared of that stuff, there's like a lot of that. There's like other forces, but what I liked about it was the whole crash scene, like when it happened. It's like everything when you're watching it, you don't expect happening. But it's a really great movie. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, even though it was all in French, and it's a must watch. I'm
fascinated now because I saw that on I saw that on Apple TV. And I'm gonna say what caught my attention. I want to say it was Apple TV or was it Hulu? It was one of those two. But what caught my attention?
Yeah, it said Hulu.
Okay, so it was Hulu. What caught my attention is that's the kid that was in, was it a Spider-Man movie? He was in a recent superhero movie.
Big movie? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I know it was because that's what his face caught my attention. And I want to say it was a Spider-Man, but I could be wrong about that. But it was a superhero movie. So I'm going to have to make sure to watch it now, especially because you're saying that you saw it in French. I want to know, what does that look like? But
did it have subtitles, or you could just understand it without having subtitles?
Yeah, so it was like dubbed in English. So, well, not dubbed. I guess
I,
it's the subs, right?
I feel
Dubbing would mean
bamboozled.
Yeah,
Well, I
dubbing would
don't know.
mean that they put the English over
The English
whatever.
over, yeah, the
Oh,
French.
okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that. It was subtitles.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I feel
it's
bamboozled. I'm ending this episode feeling like I don't even know Desiree.
I know. I know.
I feel like you've been holding out on us. There's
I
so
got a
much
lot
to
of
this
tricks up
I was
my
mystery.
gonna say
sleeve.
we've been doing this show since 2020, right? How do we not know? She speaks French.
July 9th,
How do we not know this?
2025. 5 years later, Desiree. I feel, yeah. So, anyways, with that being said,
That's why
we're
we're
going to
going.
With
bring
that
the
being
show
said,
to a close. Yeah. Make sure you lock it right here on EXXXOTICA.tv every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your favorite hosts, Casey Carter, Desiree Desirable Bottom, and me, Kari
woo,
Anthony. So we'll see you guys next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but where you can see us
yay!
live, not just on your TV screens, not just on your computers or your phones. You can come and see us live and in person. Oh, look.
Woo!
Yeah, we just knocked out Miami. You can come see us October 24th to the 26th in Edison, New Jersey. December 5th to the 7th in my backyard, Washington, D.C. Ladies Free Friday. Go sign up at EXXXOTICAtv.com. And if you're interested in being an exhibitor, you can email them and get information on how you too can become a vendor and exhibitor at the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Uh-huh. I
Mm-hmm.
love
Do
being
it.
next to some Haley.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. That fine
Mm-hmm.
lady. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, you can follow us on all our social medias right here in our pink boxes. So,
You can't get in
yeah,
our pink boxes.
no, no. Well, I don't know. You can get into Casey's at New Jersey show because she's showing a little
I didn't
something,
say
but no,
pink boxes. I didn't say the pink
I know,
box. I said
I
you
know.
might get
I
anyway.
said maybe. Hold on.
What the heck is in my background? Why does it look like that?
I don't know.
That is
That's funny. Oh
weird.
my gosh. Casey's a ghost. Except she's not a ghost that brought me
Weird.
ice.
That is so weird.
Casey is fading to the
That is so
And
background.
let's give a
Oh,
huge shout out to our top fans.
who's our
Is
top
it
fan
Okay.
today?
Yeah, go ahead and
Whoop,
tell us who
whoop.
our
We
top
got
fans are, Desiree.
Whitney Frias. Frias. Sorry if I say butcher your names. I don't mean to. I apologize. Number 1, Desirable Bottom. Number 2, Miss Platinum Pussy is number 3. Jason
Uh-oh.
is number 4. And Honest and Hardworking is number 5. Thank you for all being our top fans today on YouTube.
One more thing before we go. Let's
Woo!
shout out everybody. We meant to do it earlier, but we got a little caught up
In
in
the
our
chat.
Miami tangent. We
Mhm.
got Jason Rushman, trusty fans. Duke was in here. Yes. Whitney Frias, Javier Barbo. You know who wasn't in here? Zany. Zany, where you at, love? We missed you tonight.
Maybe Zany's on vacation.
Maybe Zany's on vacation. Honest and hardworking, saying hello from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Akash. So thank you all so much for watching tonight. You can see us next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Exotica TV, wherever you're watching. And we'll be here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed waiting on you guys. Until next week, back to you, Casey.
Peace out, y'all.